ready.
Welcome to another episode of Buff in the Rough. Today we'll hear from Aaron Collins about rabbits jumping out of trees, listening when old men are talking, a dog named Duck, and a lot more. Help me welcome Aaron to the program. Well, hey Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm all right, Sam. How you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. I really appreciate you coming on today. I can't wait to learn a little bit more about you. We hunted one time. It's been, I don't know, a year or two ago, down at Randolph County in North Carolina, and we had a good hunt. I don't think either one of us won. I don't know what that says about us, but we both got beat. I think that day.
We definitely had some rain that day too.
Yeah, we did. It was pouring down the rain on us, and I think we got beat by a girl, didn't we?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. But we'll leave that for later. We'll let that lie. Well, Aaron, thanks again for coming on. But I wanted to start out by just asking you a question. Like on your social media, and I've heard your friends call you Pig. How did you get the nickname Pig?
Well, everybody calls me that but my mama. I've been called that since I was in the 8th grade. I was playing JV baseball, and my granddaddy raised pigs, and I helped him with that. So I had to skip baseball practice one day to go with my granddaddy to get some young pigs, and I come back to practice the next day, and the coach called me Pig, and it's been that ever since. It just stuck.
Well,
Everybody calls me that to this day, except my mama.
That's hilarious. And I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, but it seems like in the South, everybody has at least one nickname.
Everybody around here at home has a nickname, and most of them's an animal.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's a good story. Yeah. Now, since you had the connection to pig farming, did y'all do a lot of barbecuing back in the day, or?
We did. We did a whole lot of that. Me and my granddaddy mostly just did sausage and hams. But we had family that was big and did barbecuing.
I tell you, I love good whole hog sausage, and there's still some of the old timers around here, if you're lucky enough to know who they are, that when it gets cold weather, you start looking for them, because that's normally when they're going to do it. But it is terrific sausage. You just can't beat it.
No, you can't beat it at all.
And then I just love, being in North Carolina, from one end of North Carolina to the other, the barbecue is a little different wherever you are in the state. But I got to tell you the truth, it's all pretty good to me.
Some better than others.
That's right. Some is better.
But all of it's good.
All of it's good. Well, listen, I wanted to ask you a little bit about how you got into rabbit hunting. I mean, can you tell us the story of that, the history of how you were introduced to rabbit hunting?
To a certain extent, it's been so long ago, but I got my first beagle when I was right at 7, 8 years old, and my daddy didn't have any dogs. My granddaddy did, but he had passed on, and I kind of started by myself. And that was a slow go with one dog and me not knowing what in the world I was doing with it. But a year or so went by, and I got introduced to Alan Newby and Kirk Douglas and several more, and it just blew up from there. And I've been dead set on messing with dogs since then. I hadn't lived a day without dogs since I was 8 years old.
Now, about how many years, because I don't know how old you are, and you're still a very young man, but how many years is that? How many years you been hunting?
7 or 8, and I'm 31 now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing the field trials for right at 20, 21 years, something like that.
Well, I did not realize you'd been field trialing for that long.
Yeah, I think I started when I was 11 or 12.
Now, do you do any other types of hunting? Are you in the part of the country where you live? I mean, I know they got good deer and coon.
I actually got rabbit dogs. I got coon dogs. I got bear dogs, deer dogs, foxhounds. I try to keep a little something to do everything with.
You do have a little bit of everything. Tell me about your coon dogs a little bit. What kind of hounds do you have?
I got I'm hunting 2 Walker dogs right now and a red tick. But they're not what I used to have. I used to only hunt walkers and blue ticks. I've always had some pretty nice walker dogs. Best one I ever had was an English blue tick, and she was by far the nicest dog I ever had on a lead. She was a really, really nice dog. The ones I got now, they're young and they're doing pretty good, but they're not what I used to hunt years ago.
Mm-hmm. Do you competition hunt?
I used to, but I hadn't in over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of the beagle hunt for about 6 years, and I just got back to doing them last January.
Mm-hmm.
And it fell right back in like I never got out. Out of hunt somewhere in the country every weekend last year. Took a whole lot of my time. I said I wasn't going to get back into it like that, but it just fell into place. Couldn't get away from it.
It's hard to shake when you get it in your blood. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, now you said you have.
It's nothing like it.
You said you have bear dogs too. Are they?
Yes.
When you have bear dogs? Are they registered dogs? Or are they?
Yeah, some of them are. Actually, a lot of them are. All of mine are except for one, but I didn't. I could probably get the papers on it, but I just hadn't went through all the trouble because that doesn't really matter to me.
Now, what breed are they?
I got 2 red ticks, 2 plots, and 1 walker dog and 1 black and tan.
What do you like about the plot hounds? I mean, what do you like about them?
They every plot I ever had as a or being around bear hunting, it was just like natural. They just do some pretty work, and they seem to be all of them be very gritty, and they know how to work a bear.
Mm-hmm. They're just born for it. I think they are.
The ones I have, I would agree 100%.
Mm-hmm. And you said you fox hunt too?
Yes, sir. I got about 15, 18 fox hounds.
Woo! Now, is that just?
It takes a little while. Fool with every one of them dogs every evening.
I hate to see your feed bill.
I don't like seeing it myself.
Well, tell me a little bit about the fox hunting, because that is something I've never done. And
well, I would definitely advise you to try it if you ain't never done it. It's you either love it or you don't really care about it. I love it. I love it on the outside. I love running in the fox pen. Anywhere I run a fox, I love it. It's a beautiful sound.
So the fox hunts. Do you competition fox hunt, or do you just go run? So you compete there too? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is that more of like a speed thing? How do you score?
It's got to where it's all about speed.
It's all really. Speed. And are those actual foxhounds, or do you hunt coonhounds?
Yes, sir. They are foxhounds.
They are foxhounds. Wow.
American foxhounds.
You are the man people need to call for just about anything. Do you have a squirrel dog too? I mean, what?
I got one.
I should have known. What kind of squirrel dog? A Feist or a cur? Or?
Yeah, I got a Feist, a little female Feist.
Is she any good? Can she tree squirrels?
She's okay. She's young. We're just starting her now, me and my partner. And she's been doing very well. We waited a little later than we had planned to, but all them dogs, it's kind of hard to do everything as planned.
I bet so.
But so far, she's doing very well.
I bet you stay busy, but a good kind of busy. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's definitely, you got to love it to do it, that's for sure, because it takes all my time, but I love every minute of it.
Mm-hmm. As you've been around the country and you've competed, what are some of your favorite hounds that you've personally hunted?
Well, the first dog I ever hunted, he was well known. He was a true dog. It was Brinko's Magic Man. He was probably one of the finest ones I ever hunted. He was well known, and he's still well known. But he was one of a kind, that's for sure. And there's several, that I've hunted over the years that was good. I had a little gyp off of Magic Man. Her name was Queenie, and she was a natural. She never had to break or nothing. She just automatically started and was a great dog. And her mama was the same way, which was owned by Joey Peterson. Her name was Peterson's Cooney, and she was the same way. And all of them were really nice dogs. The whole litter was nice, but that's three that I won't ever forget in my lifetime.
Now, did you ever hunt with a dog named Whip?
I did. I did.
What did you think about him, or is that something you can say?
Oh yeah, I can say it. I didn't think a lot of him, but he was a competition dog, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him, but he wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, he's from what I understand, a pretty good reproducer as as a competition hound. But yeah,
he threw some really nice pups, but he was fun to hunt in a hunt, but he wasn't one of my favorites by no means.
They're like that. Some of them are absolutely like that. I've got. I'm gonna tell you, I was kind of sandbagging on you a little bit. My first beagle that I ever got was out of Whip, and I still have him. He turns 14 in a couple of months, and Aaron, you might not believe this, I still hunt him. I mean, he's almost 14. I mean, that's kind of old for a beagle.
That's real old.
And but
usually if you hunt them hard, they don't ever last that long.
Well, that's the thing,
In field trials, I have known, that field trial them hard over the years. It don't take them long to get old.
You can put a lot of miles on them in a minute. You really can. But I've been so happy because to have something that's lived that long, and he still loves to hunt. But you're right. He's at that age you can hunt for an hour and a half or something, and he's obviously dropping off. So we put him up. We don't hunt him for long.
That's lucky to have one. That long and still able to hunt him. That's a blessing for sure.
He's been a lot of fun. He really has. So I've heard a lot about Magic Man. I think he's kind of like a local legend. Even down in the Carolinas, we hear about him still to this day. So, what are some of the best hounds you hunted against?
It's been a lot of them. But I thought about three that just automatically popped in my head, and that was a red dog owned by Coy and Jeff Stacy, was stationed out in Outlaw House. That was a hell of a dog. And Wild Man as well, stationed out in Outlaw Wild Man. And another one, dog that Master Aldridge had, the Showtime's Tara. She was a real deal too. They were some mighty fine dogs. But that's just a few of them. It's been so many that I've hunted against that were really nice dogs that I can't even go back and remember the names, to be honest with you. But I've all over the country, every state I've been in, I've hunted against some really nice dogs.
Mm-hmm. If you could put together like a dream cast of maybe 4 hounds to turn loose, and this could be past or present, these could be dogs living today, or it could be dogs from years and years ago that aren't here anymore. What 4 dogs would you like to see go at it?
I had to do some thinking on this one, but NFK's Queenie, the dog that I was talking about, with me handling it, Franco's Magic Man with Ronald Douglas handling it, and Stacy's Mountain Outlaw Hoss with Coy Stacy handling, and Rock Bottom and Mr. Quick with Alan Newby handling. I think that would be a lot of fun, and it'd be some real good running. Well,
who's going to win?
That I couldn't tell you, but I bet it would be some junk talking going on. To go out on one of them casts again, I probably wouldn't even care who won.
That sounds like a good cast.
That would be 3 hard to beat right there for me. But that would definitely be a dream cast if I could go out and do that again.
Mm-hmm. Talk us through some of maybe your most memorable experiences while you've been competition hunting. It's obvious that you're a competitor. You compete in all kinds of different ways with different kinds of dogs. So I know you've got probably some fond memories, but can you tell us a little about some of those big memories, big wins, tough losses, whatever just pops into your mind?
Yeah, the time me and you met and we hunted together down at Randolph County, that was a memorable one for sure because of the rain. I don't know that I've ever hunted in that bad of rain because everything was soaked from the inside out. But all the big hunts, a cast win, that's always been great. And even especially winning one and advancing to the next round, whether a win or a loss, both of those are significant. It hurts sometimes doing so good and then losing out after you advance, but advancing's still a good thing. I couldn't really pinpoint one particular hunt, to talk about. This year at the World was pretty important to me. I've been out of it for a while. I did so good this year with my duck dog, and made it to the semifinals and my dog beat itself and missed the line, and that cost me cash to go back up to the Final Four. But I was happy with him. Couldn't be let down. Couldn't be upset with your dog because all dogs make mistakes. They're just dogs, just like humans.
That's right. Well,
that was a tough one to lose.
Well, tell us a little bit about Duck. What does he look like? And where did he come from? I mean, what if you can talk about some of his breeding? That's great too. But how's he hunt? I mean, what makes him so competitive in these things?
Well, to describe the way Duck looks would be the perfect picture you could think of about a blue tick. He's a looker, that's for sure. He's beautiful. But me and my partner, we got Duck when we first got back into it. Danny Lee out of North Carolina and Maston Aldridge did the breeding on him, and he wasn't doing much for them, and they didn't really have the time to put in them, and they decided to give it to my buddy's son, for us to work with and him have something to hunt. Well, he turned out, above average. He's very headstrong, so after a while, the young boy couldn't really handle him yet, so I've been handling him. But he's been real fun to hunt because he don't mind getting in there and finding a rabbit, and he's got a good foot on him, and it gets a little hard though because he don't like to quit, and that's a lot of the problem, with the kids handling, because a lot of times you got to fight through Vietnam to get him to quit and get out the bushes. But I couldn't tell you the exact breeding, but his granddaddy was a dog that I owned. One of the last ones I owned before I quit field trialing several years ago was Showtime's Real Deal or Raw Deal. I done well with him. I think that was 2016, somewhere around in there. I was doing very well with him, but a couple crosses later, we ended up with Duck, and hopefully for long both of my buddy's boys will get a little older and they can start handling him, because he's a little too headstrong, for a child to handle just yet. But he's been fun to hunt. He's a nice dog for sure. He really turned out.
Well, I've seen pictures of him. He's a pretty rascal.
Yeah, he's a looker, that's for sure.
Well, kind of a similar question, but you've hunted all these years. What's one of the craziest things you've ever seen while you've been out on a hunt?
It seems like it's more crazy things than happen than normal, but two of some of the craziest things that I could think of would be, like in Tennessee, a lot of times rabbits will run up the Christmas trees in the Christmas tree farms, and that blew my mind first time I seen it. And that's, because you don't expect that, but it happens a lot up there. And then we was hunting the cast at my house one day on my granddaddy's farm when he first cut the timber, and there was a poplar tree in a ditch. It was about 6-7 foot high, but it was hollow where they had cut it. You could see the top of it, and it went on down the bottom of the tree, the ground. Well, the dogs was working around it, and my dog opened up, and I said, "There ain't no way in the world it's a rabbit." I said, "There's a rabbit somewhere, but it ain't in that tree." Well, 2 or 3 of the dogs got struck in, whatever, and About that time, saw the rabbit come out of the top of that hole in the top of that poplar tree that's 6-7 foot high and jumped across that ditch. Any dogs never could get on it. They couldn't do nothing with it. They couldn't figure it out. But that's probably the wildest thing I've ever seen, because I never would have guessed it in a million years.
That's a pretty good one. Well, I meant to ask you this earlier when we were talking about you getting started in hunting, but who are some of the people that had the biggest influences on you?
From the beginning, even till now, Alan Newby has been a big help to me, and always has been. He's really like a daddy to me. Kirk Douglas, he used to do a lot, because he helped me a lot when I was little. Joey Peterson, Jeff and Coy Stacy both, have always been good to me, just like family. Larry and Johnny Hawker, they also give me 2 pups when I was, a very young age. Didn't have a job, couldn't really afford to buy a pair of pups. They helped me a lot. And my partner now, Caleb Burnett, and his daddy, Mike Burnett, called him the Preacher Man. They was always a big help to me. And again, we got back together, and me and him are a team now, and I still got them helping me now. So I got a lot. I learned a lot from a lot of really good people, a lot of good houndsmen. So I've been blessed. I've been trained by, some of the best in the sport. Learned a lot from them.
I tell you, Aaron, the more I talk to people, the more I find out very quickly. I don't think I've talked to anybody who did this by themselves. You always got somebody to help you, and it sounds like you got a good support system around you, of a lot of good dog men around you. So that's fantastic to hear.
I've been very, very blessed. I could have done it, but I couldn't have been as successful, without the help I've had and the guidance, because I've been blessed, it just like I was made for this sport, because I've done very well. Some people hadn't been as fortunate enough, but it's like it just came natural. It's what I'm supposed to do,
Well, how do you?
Couldn't have done it without all them.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally understand that, and it does. It sounds like you got a lot of good folks that you work with. Well, how do you get a hound ready for a hunt? Do you do anything special?
I don't, to a certain extent, do anything different. Once the season starts to it ends, I try to run. Most dogs get ran every day. I try to run at least 4 or 5 days a week. But some of them can't handle it, and some of them need it more than others. So that's the main thing. Is I just keep them run, make sure they're in shape, and that's the main thing. I really don't change anything. I keep a diet, make sure they have a consistent diet, and I've always been a firm believer. A healthy dog is always better off than a dog, not necessarily an unhealthy dog, but an average dog. Diet is one of my biggest things. Consistent, and make sure, every dog is different, just like humans. So it takes a little time to figure out every dog, but once you figure it out, just the diet and make sure they run and stay healthy, and it's always worked for me. I had pretty good results from just running them and keeping them healthy.
That sounds good. Could you tell us a little bit about the part of the country where you live, and maybe talk about what the hunting conditions are like there? Is it hilly, flat, water, no water, thick, open? I mean, what's it like?
I would call it hilly, but it's not as hilly like where we hunt, Doe Valley in Tennessee. It's really not mountains, I wouldn't say, but maybe more hilly. But it's not flat here by no means. And 90% of what we hunt is briars, thickets, from cutover. And it's just about everything, is real thick. So I have a whole lot of water. We have a few farms, close to the river, and have some flat ground, and it may be some water standing, but for the most part, water isn't a problem. Most of the time, being dry is a problem around here more than anything.
And you're in Virginia, right? Kind of the
Yes,
okay.
I'm right on the line. I'm about 10 minutes from North Carolina line.
Okay. Aaron, if you could build the perfect beagle for you and for where you live and how you like to hunt, what would they look like? What would they sound like? How would they hunt? I mean, tell us about this perfect beagle if you could build one.
Well, our looks don't really matter if we got everything else they need, but if we was going to build the perfect one, I love a tricolor dog, blanket back, preferably. Good solid built dog, lean, long. I like them long, but I've had short little dogs, run just as fast, but what I prefer. And I like a big mouth on a dog, big, strong mouth, drowned out other dogs. And my favorite thing that overrides anything in a dog is brains. I love a dog that's smart, not just absolutely crazy. I like a dog with brains, and we definitely have to have a good nose on them. But brains is my biggest thing. I love a dog that's got some smart to it.
That's a big difference. You can overcome a lot if you got the intelligence. Don't catch you.
You can teach a dog a whole lot of things that it can't figure out on its own if it's smart. But if it ain't got no brains, you can't teach it much.
Well, as you've competed over the years, I know every few years it seems like the rules may get changed or modified to just, hopefully get better and better and give us something that's closer and closer to how we actually hunt, and really simulate going out on a gun hunt. If you could add or remove or modify any rule, what would it be?
That's kind of hard to say because some of them, I had never been on two casts where everything played out the same, but the rule, it's changed now since I got back into it. When I got out, you had to see the rabbit to plus your strike point, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they changed that. And I'm not going to lie and say that it had never worked out in my favor. But I would like it to go back to, where you had to see the rabbit to plus your points. But I mean, like I said, it's kind of hard to say that because I ain't going to lie. Sometimes it has worked out in my favor. But then again, I've got beat for that reason, because I had dog not even strike in because it never got the rabbit up, but thought, running good enough, whatever. But that would be one thing. And another thing, I would definitely say the 30-minute rule to handle your dog. To me, that's part of dog handling, is having a dog that you have control over and being able to handle. I think that should be shortened, but that's just my opinion. Because sometimes it takes a whole lot of time. If it takes you 30 minutes to catch a dog, I feel like it shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't be given that much time, in my opinion. I mean, but like I say, every cast is different. Some things happen, in 30 minutes. It's not long enough, if in some bad situations. But
right,
it's, like I say, it's hard to say because everything's not the same. But other than that, I really can't complain about anything too much. I mean, I said it. Sometimes what you don't like works out in your favor.
It does. It can. Is there anyone that you like to beat just a little bit more than everybody else?
Yeah. My partner now, Caleb Burnett, I love whooping up on him. But that being said, I like, if I get beat, I like it to be an honest loss. I like to get beat by a dog.
Right.
It looked a little bit better that day. And I've always liked going, to other states and that I'm not used to hunting and the dogs ain't used to being there and doing good against the locals. That always makes me feel pretty good, not necessarily beating somebody, but taking a dog that's not used to it and doing good, it makes me feel like I'm doing my job with the dogs.
This is a question I started asking people fairly recently. If you if you need help with a hound related challenge, it could be, something hunting related that you need to work on with your dog. It could be a medical question. You need help, and everybody does. I do too. You need help with something hound related, and you could only call one person. Who's that one person going to be for you?
I'm real close to my vet, and I talk to her a lot. I'm sure you would realize as many dogs as I got to go with, but before I made that
she
call,
probably loves you.
It was something I couldn't figure out. It would probably be Alan Newby.
Yep. Yeah, I thought you might say Alan. Yep.
Yeah, he's man, it's been a team, and he's been like a daddy to me since I was a kid. And me and him help each other a whole lot. That would be my first call if all I had was one.
Now, Aaron, I know you've hunted all over the country. Is there a favorite club or two that you like to go to? You know they're always going to have good food. They're going to put you on rabbits. You're going to be treated right, have good judges. You like the terrain where they are. Is there a place that you like to hunt? A couple places that you really like to go to these hunts?
Yeah, I could definitely think of one. From what you're explaining, I would. First one pops in my head, Beto Valley Sportsman Club in Tennessee. I love going up there. It's pretty country, and as long as the scent conditions ain't too poor, it's always really good running and good scores because it's so good. Seeing rabbits up there is some street farms, and you can see a lot and get good scores. And I always love going up there. Always have.
Mm-hmm. If you could look into a crystal ball and see what the biggest challenge for future hunters would be, I mean, what do you think? What's going to be the big challenge for these young folks that are getting started now?
Would probably be, in my opinion, would be the people that are against hunting. Really, we're struggling with that really bad in Virginia. They're trying to stop the deer hunting. Any fox being running, and that's in my opinion, that's the toughest part. That and finding somebody that's actually going to help you and not try to, work you over on a dog. But the biggest thing is the people that are against it hurting the future hunters. That's sad, really. They've already stopped a lot of these hunts around here at the house. The outside fox hunting. It's hard to do because you have to have so many thousand consecutive acres, no landowner in between. And there's so many rules, it's hard for a club to have them because it's so much of a headache. And it's all because of people that don't like it. And this may make people mad, I don't know, but the people that don't like it, 98% of them don't know why they don't like it. They just don't like it. They don't even know why. They never tried it. And that, in my opinion, that's going to be the hardest part about not just future hunters, but hunting in the future in general. That's going to be the biggest challenge here at home anyway. That's going to be the biggest challenge.
I think that's a good answer and a very honest answer. Why do you enjoy rabbit hunting so much? I mean, what keeps you going?
Sometimes I ask myself that same question, but it all boils down to the dogs, watching them work and seeing what I created from a pup to a fine-tuned machine, to say, if it wasn't for dogs, I probably wouldn't hunt. Because I don't still hunt. I don't do any kind of hunting unless it involves a dog. I would say 100% of what I do is all about watching the dog and working with the dogs.
Can I ask you to give advice for somebody considering getting into rabbit hunting? And this could be somebody that might be considering just running hounds with their buddies, or it could be somebody getting into competition hunting, rabbit hunting. What advice would you give to somebody new, just getting started?
One thing, and I don't mean to sound smart when I say this, but a lot of people at home, come to me for advice because they know I've been doing it a long time. and I got a good name, I would say, at home. So a lot of people do come to me for advice, and one of the main things I tell them, and I tell them don't take it the wrong way, but when an old man's telling you something, don't talk. You need to listen, because when an old man's talking with all the experience, the last thing you need to do is open your mouth. You need to open your ears. That's helped me a whole lot in my lifetime. Listening when somebody knows what they're talking about talks, instead of trying to tell them a story. Listen to them. If they're willing to give you some information, it's probably well worth taking in. And you do get into it, run your dogs, because I ain't never made no dog sitting in no pen. And that's with everything. I'm running some kind of dog just about 7 days a week, some shape or form. But I would say that would be two of the main things. Listen when somebody tries to help you that know what they're talking about, and keep them running, keep them healthy, and I think they will have good results.
I think that's fantastic advice. I really do. I don't know that you can get any better advice than that.
I learned a whole lot from old people by listening and not talking to them.
I love being around old people, and they're my favorite.
Yeah.
I really do. This has been really good. I've learned a lot about you that I did not know, and I know folks will enjoy learning more about you and hearing some of these stories. But is there anything that I didn't ask you about that I should have, or is there anything you want to cover that we didn't, or anything you want to promote?
I can't think of nothing right off. I would like to mention the NHBA, National Hunting Beagle Association. That's a great thing. Get in. Mm-hmm. And the dues are little enough. I think they're only like $25, but it's a great thing, especially for kids. I mean, they give away stuff not just kids. I mean, they give away all kinds of stuff, great prize packages, but they do so much for kids. It's crazy. But I would, if you're not a member, I would definitely suggest joining. I said, I think it's $25. I'm not 100% sure, but you could talk to, I know Kristen Bundy and Alan Newby can get you hooked up with all of that. And I said, even when I wasn't field trialing, when I got out for a while, I was still a member of the NHBA, because they do raffles and stuff just for the members. Even if you're not going to hunt, I would strongly suggest, joining, because it's well worth it.
Yeah, that's a great organization. That's a very good organization, especially with the kids. Yeah, they do a lot. Yeah, especially for the kids. They have a lot of outreach. They're good to their members too. I mean, their hunts have, I think, probably some of the most competitive prize packages of any other organization in the country. So it's very well run. It's a good leadership group that they have there. Well, this has been great, Aaron. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. I really do. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Buff in the Rough. And remember to like and subscribe if you want to be notified when we have new content available. And please send comments and suggestions to buffintherough@gmail.com.